In the meantime, I want to go to Kirk Lippold, the former USS Cole commander, what he makes of this, because I know I ask you this a lot, Commander, but just bring me up to speed. How does this ever end?
Well, I think, Neil, what we really need to do is take a look at the long-range strategic interests of the United States and our European allies. And we need to give Ukraine the flexibility that when they say, well, we don't want to escalate, let's act defensively, sometimes that means taking preventive measures to prevent Russia from actually conducting these attacks that are killing innocent civilians, men, women, and children who have no part in the conflict. And so consequently, saying we don't want to be escalatory, why are we always in the reactive mode is what we should be asking. Perhaps it is time for NATO and our other partner allies in Europe to begin to give Ukraine the flexibility they need to act defensively by taking the war to Russia.
Do you know if Donald Trump, if he becomes president, shares that view? Or he always talks about ending it quickly. I don't know how he proposes to do that. But what do you think?
Well, Neil, I'll be honest. I'm very concerned about Donald Trump because while he likes to tout the America First logo, I think when it comes down to it, America First does not mean America alone. This is the largest conflict on the European continent since World War II. And the reality is the European countries, as much as they are doing for Ukraine, need to step up, specifically Germany. They're just not doing enough, and they need to give them more armaments and more capability. Ukraine, with what they have, has been incredibly innovative, but by the same token, the United States should release some of the restrictions we have put on it to allow Ukraine to conduct the war in a manner that is preventive in nature and stops Russia from being able to target their infrastructure, especially as we're in the fall and getting ready for a winter again, and the electric grid is going to be a prime target.
Well, as part of that strategy, Ukraine is taking the fight to Russia and attacking positions in Russia, and that is what prompted Vladimir Putin's latest comment about nuclear weapons again. Now, it could be just saber-rattling, but what if he means it?
Well, Neil, this has been a dilemma because it used to be back in the days of the Soviet Union when Russia, again, collected all the nuclear weapons from throughout the former states. Nobody bluffed when it came to nuclear weapons policy. Vladimir Putin violated that when he started the invasion into Ukraine. And at this point, having bluffed a number of times, at some point he may feel compelled to do that. But I think in nuclear weapons, we would clearly see the indications through intelligence sources and methods that would give us the heads up, and we could send that signal back channel not to do that. And we could also step up. By the same token, we need to look at the countries that are now supplying Russia, and we clearly know it: Iran, China, North Korea. And if Russia wants to try and hold NATO accountable, why not hold some of those countries that are supplying Russia with the weapons that are killing Ukrainians also accountable? Make Iran pay a price. Make China pay a price. There are a number of things we can do that are non-kinetic. We don't have to get into a war fight, but by the same token, we need to be prepared to step it up and stop weapons shipments to Russia that are targeting Ukraine.
Commander, thank you. Always good seeing you and hearing your warnings because you've been prescient on a lot of this. Kirk Lippold, the commander of the USS Cole, itself subject to a terror attack.